Hey, Motorman here, and this week we're going to talk about why you should never ever rely on your instincts when it comes to riding a motorcycle. I'm going to be going out tomorrow down to Miami. I'm going to take some high-speed training course, and I'm going to give you all the details on that. And I say that so you realize that when it comes to riding a motorcycle, well, the learning never stops. But don't depend on your instincts. Get some training. So watch some of these videos and you'll see exactly what I mean. All right, here we have an example of, and this is very typical, a rider trying to make turns with the motorcycle straight up because his instincts are telling him don't lean that motorcycle. Well, the instincts are wrong. You got to lean the bike in order for it to turn. Now watch this rider. He goes so far across the opposite lane that if that was on the street, he'd have a head-on collision here. Now he tries to turn in a smaller space because he doesn't make it to the complete right side, and of course he can't do it. Then he looks straight. He should have made a right there. He looks straight and he goes straight. It happens every time, and it's the opposite of what your brain tells you to. Don't listen to your brain. Listen to what I'm telling you. You got to have technique to be a good rider. Let's watch this one. Straighten the bars just a bit in the middle of the turn, then of course had to put a foot down. Now he does turn his head, look to the right, but again crosses the imaginary double yellow line. And now he's got to make another U-turn, and he looks at the cone he doesn't want to hit, and he runs it over. The bike goes wherever you look, the opposite of what your brain tells you. Your brain says, look at the thing you don't want to hit. If you do that, chances are you're going to hit it. Once again, looks at the thing he doesn't want to hit and runs it right over. It happens every time. Look how far across on the wrong side of the road he is when he makes a simple right-hand U-turn. And this is very typical. This is not something that just this rider does. This is like 90% of the people that I see at my class will make these exact same mistakes because their entire life they're riding on instinct. He looks at the cone, right over it he goes. Now, if that was a curb, yeah, he'd have some serious trouble or damage to his motorcycle. Here's a rider, his brain is telling him go so slow and steer through those cones. When you do that, yeah, you can't do it. This rider tries to use body English there to steer the motorcycle, and I know a lot of riders do that, but you got to turn the bars, let the bike lean in order for it to turn. If you listen to your brain, you're going to wind up getting into a lot of crashes and having a lot of drops. Slows the bike down because his brain says, go slow, go slow. If you do that, it's much easier. It's the opposite. You got to let the motorcycle lean. That's what it was designed to do. In order to make it turn without leaning, you got to be about 3 or 4 miles an hour, which is what this guy is at. And of course, he's got to put his feet down, almost drops the motorcycle. Now here's a rider who's doing pretty well in this exercise. This is the first circle is 30 feet. His speed is good. He's turning his head and eyes. The next one is 26 feet to the right. Still, speed's pretty good. Could go a little bit faster, lean a little bit further, but it's so far so good. Gets into this turn. It's the tightest one, and his instinct says slow down. And no power to the rear wheel. Down goes the bike. Now, you've seen this before, but I couldn't resist showing you this again because these are guys whose instincts told them, with no experience whatsoever, no training at all, to go out and buy 950-pound, $45,000 motorcycles. And the results, though funny, are really disastrous, both to the motorcycle and, of course, to the riders. His way of thinking, he has no idea what he's doing. He has to have a pedestrian push him to get the bike going. And I guess this is in Brazil, by the way. I'll translate what the people in the background are saying. The woman cried out, "You should have got a trike." Okay, I don't know what she's saying, but this guy should have got a trike. No clue how to ride a motorcycle, and he buys a 950-pound, $45,000 motorcycle. I hope this group that's around him goes wherever he goes so they can just help him ride the bike and keep picking it up, because he's going to keep on dropping it. With no training, that's what happens.